Hello, I'm DJ Oliver and welcome to Detroit Performs. I'm at the Interstate Gallery located in Detroit's Eastern Market. In today's episode, we're featuring photography and how every photograph has a story behind it. From gorgeous landscapes taken from a fast-moving car to the beauty in the face of a stranger on the street. Our first artist is Diane Marie Kramer, whose past experiences can be seen throughout her work as she adds meaningful trinkets and baubles to her paintings and sculptures. Plus, she's found a positive spin on the term drive-by shooting with her camera as the shooter. Let's take a look.
I'm a painter and a sculptor and a photographer, and most of my work at this phase in my life is intuitive based. Years back, when I was just a little girl, my father would come home on a Friday and he would dump an entire dump truck full of dirt into our backyard. And I probably was like 3 or 4 years old, and at that point I just remember the joy and the freedom of working with dirt. So that sort of created this freedom within me to express, no matter where I was, something that was in a creative form. But what really inspires me at this point in my art career is working off dreams and just working with different elements in nature and art mediums and using it to create a certain entity within the art form. Ever since I was a young girl, dreams have been huge in my life. My mom and grandma, we would tell stories and discuss our dreams in great depth. This time passage between where I am in the awakening stage and in the dream stage and in between has always been something that's pretty much intrigued me. So what's interesting is sometimes within the work there is this sense of timelessness. I'm pretty chaotic in my studio environments, and that can be from an inside studio to an outside place of work. I get a little frantic at times because the work is going and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, this is like terrible, what am I doing? And so the whole gamut of insecurity and wanting to indulge in what the work should become takes place. And that's where that element of trust and sensitivity comes into what the work wishes to become. I love sculpture. There's a certain challenge to sculpture that I just have to do it. And I keep saying I want to downscale, but I just seem to need to have height. I love painting, but all of my paintings are becoming more three-dimensional. I guess I've developed a sensitivity throughout the years in what I like to call it what the work likes to become. And when it reveals itself to me, I just have to go for it. So I never know in any given day and in every given time in my studio what it is that I'm going to be working on. I just need to follow my path. I think I'm a little bit of an alchemist. So sometimes for me, materials mean more to the actual imagery. For example, I have collected things from hair ribbons to grandma's embroidery to my father's stainless steel bits in his toolbox to found objects on the street from Detroit to San Francisco. And I collect these. And when I'm working on a particular piece, again, it's pretty much intuition based. I'll come upon the canvas or the sculptural, form, and it's like, okay, what do I have that goes into it? And for me, key point is the materials. Well, this particular piece is called In Search of Shadows. The work itself is made on top of a sheet of inch oak wood. And I used a Dremel tool to carve out the basic lines. I went into my studio and found materials, once again, that meshed with the energy or the spirit of the work. And some of those materials are my Oma Anna, which was my father's mother, the garter strap thingies that connect the hose. And I think it was from the 60s or early 70s, fun flowers and incredible edibles. There's a flower formation there. There's even a photograph of myself, probably as a 2 or 3-year-old, out on a limb here. In search of shadows, we all have them. It's sometimes good to look on the underside, and there's a journey that's taking place from left to right, and hopefully the viewers can enjoy some of that. And I love photography, and there's a sense of chance with photography. Dies drive-bys. Basically, it's driving by, catching somebody or something that is of interest to me, and shooting it and seeing what I can come up with later when I'm actually editing the photos and seeing what actually transpired during that journey. So there's a sense of time, there's a sense of chance, and there's a sense of new discovery, and also sharing that part of Michigan in particular. Most of my drive-bys are of Michigan. That very purpose of taking a negative connotation of the usual drive-by shooting, which is unfortunate and dark, and bringing it into a new light of drive-by shooting where an artist or a person wishing to explore a new part of the city or landscape in the countryside, and just giving something positive. Why not give it positive aspects? And showing, again, the beauty of the people and the place. I hope that when people experience my art, or where they look at it, or actually go up to it, touch it, look at it, that they will allow themselves a moment in their life to experience a side of themselves that perhaps needs to be looked at and experienced, and that it gives them some form of self-awareness and exploration into where they are, or perhaps bringing forth a memory that is evoked through the piece, basically to experience being alive. And hopefully there's some connection with the work on that level. I hope that many of my works will find a suitable place, whether that be in somebody's home or in a public venue, so that the work can live on and continue to hopefully touch a place within a person, so that it's a new experience. To me, it's always a mystery each time I set forth, whether it's a sculpture or a painting or a photograph, and just to keep following the muse, and hopefully to create an audience that sort of reciprocates and gets it.
To find out more about Diane Marie Kramer and all the other artists featured here today, head to DetroitPerforms.org.